Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, Aric Harris with Protection Dog Sales here. Not going to do a review video, so to speak, but instead I'm going to talk about my experience using the Julius-K9 equipment that I've been getting myself very familiar with, and obviously doing review videos on, product testing, putting it through the test, all that kind of stuff. So one of the things I want to focus on, again, my experience traveling with one of our dogs overseas, specifically over to Egypt, to go and deliver this dog to a client and a friend of ours that we've had for a long time. In my experience, you have to have your credentials on straight. You gotta have your credentials really sorted out to take a dog on any sort of flight anyway. That's a given. But traveling overseas, you've got all sorts of extra paperwork, medical reasons why, doggy visas, etc., etc., etc. So with those credentialing, you gotta have your identification very clearly marked. One of the things I noticed with the Julius-K9 equipment, it made that so easy for me. I've had troubles in the past with other harnesses that I've had to stitch on, stitch off. I'm going in a unique situation here where I've got to take a dog that's starting off speaking English and ending up speaking Arabic. So I was able to use that with my patches with this particular dog named Phil, Arabic for black pepper. Phil and I, we started out in Louisville, Kentucky, flying. Our 16-hour journey landed us in Cairo, Egypt. I was able to switch the patches accordingly, and it also made things in customs on the other side a little easier, nerves for them, seeing a solid black German Shepherd come through the airport in Cairo, Egypt, with an Arabic patch that said, "Hi, my name's Phil." Makes it a lot easier. It made my life simple, very simple. So I was really happy. One of the big things I used was the IDC 2-inch collar here. I had my identification for Phil name patch on his collar, and then I used my IDC Stealth harness to start off with. But here's another unique thing. When I left, it was 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Had a little bit of snow, definitely sleet, nasty weather. When I landed 16 hours later in Cairo, Egypt, it was 82 degrees. I've got a solid black German Shepherd, so I was able to switch off to the IDC belt harness here. All right, they have this in the colors, or black and gray. This thing right here allowed Phil to have a lot more access to air and ventilation, which cooled him down. So I went from a heavy duty, harness, which is very popular. I love. You guys have heard my affection for the power harnesses and the stealth harnesses, but I was able to switch to this nifty thing here and allow my dog the ability to ventilate his belly out easier, get some of the heat out, and cool down and not trap so much heat. Versatility, guys. That's one of the things I've always said about, and I love and continue to love about Julius-K9. So I took my patches, boom, right off of my stealth harness and stuck them right over here to the IDC belt harness. So wonderful ability to be able to just on the fly switch my equipment up, change it as necessary, and again, always having in a foreign country the ability to have my dog's name on here and his credentials, working dog, do not touch, always stayed on him when we were out in public. So the other thing I want to just kind of briefly mention, not getting into my profession here, but when I make these deliveries, the mental welfare of the dogs is very important. Very high on my priority list. I was able to take along several pieces of equipment like the wedge, bite tugs, the toys, and when I landed, in fact, I've worked the dog, made a couple of videos on that. When I landed, I worked him there. When I worked him with stuff he's familiar with, in a manner he's familiar with, he doesn't realize he's, thousands of miles away from home. He's excited to be there and have his Julius-K9 equipment with his buddy Aric and work. That really helps me get the dog to transition to a new home, new environment, in such a foreign country with so many new noises, nobody speaking English, and it just transitioned flawlessly. So that's a little bit about my experience, again, experience, not review, using Julius-K9 equipment to start in Louisville, Kentucky, and fly all the way across, many different checkpoints, and land up in Cairo, Egypt. It went very smoothly. Very wonderful country, by the way. If you haven't already considered tourist travel there, you should consider it. I'm not being paid to say that one, trust me. I love Egypt, been there multiple times. But again, wonderful experience, the ability to switch out my patches on the fly, make everybody comfortable, the ability to have good, clear labels and identify who my dog was, what his service credentialing was, why he was here at the floorboard of a plane, why he was walking through a terminal with me. That stuff broadcasted wonderfully. So Julius-K9 guys, again, we have a promo code on their website, Protection Dog Sales, all one word, for a 15% discount. But anything from patches, leashes, collars, harnesses. Guys, get these custom patches, all right? You see me right here? We got this little cough outbreak. I'm wearing the Ask to Pet, all right? Ask to pet me because I might be coughing. I don't know. You might be coughing and I don't want you to pet me either. So you never know those things. But I hope you enjoyed this video, me talking about my experience taking a dog from Louisville, Kentucky to Cairo, Egypt here at Protection Dog Sales. A trip made easy using Julius-K9 equipment. Big shout out to my friends at Julius-K9. Appreciate the gear and we love working with the product.